Pioneer brand canola with Optimum Gly, the highest yielding glyphosate tolerant trait on the market. What's next in canola happens here.
Hi, I'm Amber Bell, and this is Real Agriculture. I am here today with Jody Wacowich, who is the Executive Director of AgSafe Alberta. AgSafe Alberta just launched their level 4 of their Farmers Care program, and so I'm really excited to have you on, Jody, and hear about the work you guys are doing. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and share our story about the Farmers Care program and the new level.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about Farmers Care in general and kind of where it started up, what we're looking at with this program.
So it'd be about 5 years ago or so, we were looking at ways to talk about the ways people get hurt on the farms, and kind of brainstorming and throwing things out there, and we ended up coming up with the acronym Farmers Care. And each of the letters stands for, the big ways that people get hurt on the farms. So we have F for, falls, and that's from heights or at same level. A is for air quality, and that can be, in the barn, or it can even be when we have a fire season and it gets quite smoky and, we're outside doing those activities in that smoke. And then it carries on to things like rollovers and motor vehicles and, electrocution, securing loads, and even animal handling. So we kind of cover the gamut of everything you come across on the farm.
Okay, and what about those first three levels? What do those kind of look like?
So when we launched the first level, that was identifying the hazards at a really kind of a basic level. What happened was, once we came up with the acronym, is that our board of directors, who are all farmers, said, we need to do more with this. We need to get this out there more. And they said, how about we do a program that kind of brings things back to as basic a level as we can kind of get. We had our full-on safety program, and we're finding that people are hesitant to get into that, and that we do have a lot of family farms here in the province, and they weren't necessarily needing to do that. So this kind of dialed it back a little and said, let's just pick on some things that everybody can do on the farm to make it a safer place. So level 1 was hazards, and we kind of walk through the acronym and say, here's places that you can have hazards. Is there, a few low-hanging fruit things that you can kind of fix on the farm and reduce the chances of having one of those major incidents? Level 2, we wanted to focus on communication, because that's a big part of safety, is making sure everybody knows, what the hazards are and what we do when we come across a hazard, when something happens, and we know on family farms that sometimes can be a challenge too. Growing up on a family farm, sometimes they assume that everything that they know. And since we can't, download a thumb drive and plug it in yet, so, we kind of have to remember to explain those things to people, and, especially when we have guests on the farm who are, to visit. And then level 3, we took a look at just kind of performing some basic inspections and saying, hey, maybe on a quarterly basis or a seasonal basis, we say, okay, we're going to walk around, we're going to check equipment, buildings, places that people can get hurt, and just doing that kind of at a very basic level. And then level 4, we wanted to get into emergencies, because those will happen, and how are we going to respond to those, and coming up with a plan to respond to those. And, do we have somebody who's trained in first aid on the farm? And are they around regularly? Because, the wife who might work off farm having first aid doesn't help if she's at work. So things like that, and identifying ways that, we send our kids to school, they all go through a fire drill a couple of times a year just to remember to do that. That's not a bad thing for a farm either. Hey, if
Hmm.
something's happening, where is our muster point? Does everybody know that?
Right.
And those kind
And
of
so
challenges.
the program really just leads you through like everything from basic awareness to prevention and then into what to do at the end of the day when
Mhm.
or if something does happen.
Yeah, really focusing on growing that culture, thinking more about safety, putting it as one of those first steps in our day. And, okay, we got, take an additional 10 to 30 seconds and say, hey, what in this task could hurt me? What am I going to do about it? And am I ready for, in case the worst happens, and we need to respond to something too?
Right. I love your point on communication because I kind of sometimes I think it's ridiculous. My partner and I will almost over communicate where we're like, okay, I'm going to go onto the tractor and do this and do this. And, there's times where I laugh at myself for it. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, that's a really good thing because he knows where I am. I know where he is, right? So there's less of a risk of something happening.
Yeah, it's knowing where even to start. My husband often, this time of year, there's manure hauling to be done, and he gets into an area where there's no cell service, so I might not hear from him for a few hours, and I'm like, okay, is everything okay, or and knowing that he is also diabetic, so sometimes those things can happen too, and I'm not there, I can't see it.
Right, right. Well, that's fantastic. And so level 4 just launched. When did that launch?
Launched on October 1st, so
Cool.
it's been live for a couple of weeks now, and we are seeing people get through the course, and we actually even have a farm sign. So now that we've got all 4 levels there, people who get through the 4th level, we have a farm sign if they'd like to, say, hey, we do value safety on this farm, and we think about everybody and making sure that they get home at the end of the day, and if you want a farm sign to say that, we've got one of those too.
That's amazing. And have you guys received any feedback on the program up to this point? Any stories that have come out of it?
No real stories yet, but in just reviewing the survey results at the end of the thing is a lot of people are saying, it just kind of gave me food for thought. We may have built a plan and haven't looked at it in a while, or maybe we do need to formalize something here and talk to the people on the farm about what we have in place.
Right, that communication piece again.
Yeah.
Can be tough. Well, that's amazing. Where can producers go if they want to get more information on the program? And is it just for Alberta, or are people from the rest of the country allowed to participate?
So if you head to our website, www.agsafeab.ca, it'll take you to the course. And as a bonus, and if you take it before December 31st, we're entering people into a draw for UFA gift cards. And the higher the level you go, the more entries you get. So kind of a little bit of a motivating factor there. And it is actually open to everyone who wants to take it.
Oh,
We've actually even had a lady from Peru take the courses.
from Peru.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on today, Jody. It was wonderful to have you. And I'm looking forward to signing up for this course.
Excellent.